This right here is my AX 170 MSX computer from Egypt, or what they call the Al-Sakhr. And next to it is a tape player that goes along with it. And I haven't found that much stuff out there on the web that goes over this, but basically this tape recorder plugs into the side and it's got its cassette connector there. And this right here is power. And I made the mistake of opening it up already, and I desoldered this inside, and then I lost the video. So I got to figure out first where this goes. But this actually goes to the power, and I'm going to test that again. But I want to get this tape player here working because I haven't seen anything out on the web about it. And it's quite dirty. This is coming from Egypt. And you can see that there's the model number and everything on it. And I just thought it would be a great addition to having this with this computer here. So I'm going to take this apart and we're going to look at it. And I'm going to try to figure out where this connector goes. And then if it actually powers on, then I know it works, but we'll see how it works. So I'm going to go ahead and take this apart. There's 4 screws, pretty straightforward. 1. There's 2. 3. And 4 right there. And take the lid off. And I can see inside everything. Now this is where I actually desoldered this. I stripped it already. But first we need to get this going because this is the power. And this is for the connector here. So that seems to be intact. So I'm going to get my multimeter out. And I'm going to see if we can figure out where that goes. But just to show first off, this right here, this connector, both of these wires on here actually are connected together. So I'm going to take this right here. I'm going to plug it in. I believe it's one of these, but let's see. Yeah, so it's that first one right there. That's a dead short. Or it's actually connected together. Same with this little wire. So these two are actually together. And that's on this pin right here. And I have it marked right there. Okay, so I know that these can literally go together. I think what it is this is providing 5 volts. And then the ground is coming from this connector. That's my guess. So I got to figure out where this goes. And I think that if I come down here, this right here is a ground. So I know that's ground. My guess is it's coming from, could be coming from here. So I'm guessing it's coming from here. Let me see what is in here. Yeah, so this is coming from the motor right here. So this is coming down here somewhere. So I would guess to connect it right here. Okay, so let me go ahead and take this apart. Flip it over. And yep, definitely pretty dirty. Okay, so the belts themselves kind of feel pretty loose. I'm gonna go ahead and start disassembling. This right here is very loose, for sure. It's gonna need a good clean and everything else. So let me get a smaller screwdriver. Take these screws out here. Okay, so I have some belts here. I'm gonna try to find something that would be a good replacement for them. So let's take a look. Maybe one of these would be good for this. These belts are a little bit thicker, but I think that one's somewhat close. Not quite sure. Maybe one that's a little bit smaller. It's always kind of like a somewhat of a fine art with these. It's difficult to get the exact size that you need. I think maybe this one may be close enough. I'm gonna replace that one with that one. And this one right here, let's see, I'm gonna look in the bigger bag. See if I can find one that's somewhat close. That one may be too small. If you get them too small and they're too tight, it tends to overwork the motor and gives it a problem. Let's see, is this one too big or is that one okay? Let's see. I don't know. Those are somewhat similar. So I'm going to try this one. Okay, so I have it turned back on, and let's see what it does now. I'm going to try to hit play here. Okay, well, we know rewind works. Oh, we have a problem there. Yep, we have a problem there. Probably something just stuck on the back. Let me see. I'm going to turn it off actually. And yeah, I just have wires kind of going all over the place. I'm going to turn that back on. And we'll try again. We'll do rewind. Rewind looks pretty good. The counter's not working though. Still something stuck on there. Let's see. Actually see. Looks like it should be routed right. Let me turn it back on. Something's definitely not right. Probably when I put it back together, I probably missed something. This moves here. That gear is not lining up. Actually, turn it off. If I could press this in. Be careful with these gears. I want to break them. See, the counter is moving. This doesn't appear to be lining up. You can see the gears are there. Try to see if it looks like this should be moving. Yeah, I don't think these are lined up. I don't see it cracked anywhere. It's pretty dirty though. Try it again. Well, definitely a problem somewhere around here. Okay, so it's the next day, and I gave this a lot of thought on what is going on here. And as it comes over, this gear is not close enough to this gear right here. So I had to try to figure out what the problem is. And if I look at it, I'm gonna actually put the case on real quick. That is the fast forward, which makes sense because the play is having alignment problems too, to a certain degree. So I'm not really proud of my solution, but it does work. This piece of plastic, it comes over and it hits against this metal piece. And it's not coming over far enough. So what I did is I took a little engraving tool and just grind it just a little bit off of this piece of plastic here on this side. And now when it comes over, it looks more lined up. And this motor is 6 volt, but 5 volts will work on it. And now if I took this out of the case because I don't want to keep running the computer while I'm testing it. I'd rather power it individually because this is more of a mechanical thing. So I'm going to take this. This is hooked up to USB, which is 5 volts. And I'm going to run it now. Try to get my fingers out of the way. And you can see it's actually fast forwarding. And it looks good. If I go to rewind, that's working. I have the wire in the way, so I'm going to move that out. Try to keep everything out of the way. And rewind is working. And then if I go to play, play is working as well. And I can see the little counter moving over here. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually try to clean this all up and clean the case up, put it back together. And then at that point, what I'm going to have to try to do is actually test it and see if it works and electronically it's able to send the data signals back and forth. Okay, so at this point, I have it in this nice little old lasagna tray here that I can keep all the dirt contained. And I'm going to just clean it. And I think I'll start out, I'll just try to get the general dirt off of it, if I can. Just go around and clean in between all the little crevices and everything. kind of coming to the end of cleaning the inside, the guts of it. I think it's looking pretty good. Clean up this right here. Yep, that seems to work. Well, before I do the case, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up here. The cables. These cables are always one thing that I sometimes forget to do. Dirtiest part is actually the case. I think the case, I'm gonna probably just clean this in the sink and come back and just go from there, because it's gonna take a while to clean in here. And there's like a lot of dirt inside of here. That's just gonna be a lot easier to clean. And I'm probably gonna pop this out so I can get to it better. I think in the end, the case turned out okay, but as you can see, it's got some scratches on it and the buttons are really yellowed, but I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, let's see if it actually works now after all the repairs. Had to replace the op amp chip, which I'm still not sure if that's a problem or not, but I've got a tape in with the program that I wrote. So I'm gonna type cload. Press play, and when it gets down to around 7 on the counter, I think it should find the program, if it's working. Should be coming up. There, it found it. Good. It ran it. Awesome. You run it. Prints out the ASCII table. just a little for loop. I'm going to C load again. I have a second program, almost the same thing, but it'll play a sound. And it's about the same length. So around 14 on the counter, it should show up if it's working. $13 and found it. Good. Let me run it. Okay, cool. List the program. Just a little for loop with a sound in between. And I'm going to actually stop it and I'm going to write a new program. So I'm going to type new. Let's see if CLS works in here. It does. Okay. So I'll do 10 and I'll just do something like for y equals 1 to 10, 20 prints y, 30 next y. And I'll run it. Okay, just prints that. Okay, so I'll do C save count. I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to record. The light goes on, it's recording. Okay, it saved it. Good. I will stop. I will rewind back to all the way back. And let's go turn it off. Hit control, hold down control so it'll break out of the Arabic menu and it'll go right to basic. I'll type in C load and I'm going to fast forward now to 14, somewhere around there. I have to see if I got it right. I'm going to hit play and see if I picked it up in the correct location for it to load that little for loop. Should take it, I guess, around 20 or 21, somewhere around there, hopefully. Okay, it didn't pick it up. Could just be that it's kind of difficult to get the exact count. So let me hit stop. I'm going to rewind back, clear it, redo it. Load. And I'll just play and go through each program and see if we can pick up the last program that I wrote and see if it'll actually do it correctly this time. 5, 6, right around now it found it. Good. Okay, I'll run it. That worked. I'll do C load again, let it go to the next program. Should do the same thing right around 14. It should pick up. It's kind of weird if you type C load and you don't hit play, you could fast forward. But once you play or do anything else, it won't fast forward. It's kind of weird. And if you just restart the computer and try to fast forward, it won't let you do it, but you can rewind. So I'm not really sure if that's kind of a feature or there's still a problem. All right, moment of truth. Will it load the next program that I just saved on it? Hopefully it will. I did save the other 2 programs on here. Doesn't look like it's going to find it. Okay, so with a little more investigation, the cassette port inside of this computer is not making good connection. The traces are messed up. I made some changes to it. I wired in to the different traces on the board for the cassette port to see if that helped. It helped for a while, then it didn't help, and that explains the reason why the cassette was working, and then when I tried to record and play back, it didn't work. So I'm going to take it apart, and I think I'm going to try to replace it with a new cassette port that I have, and then have to figure out a way to make sure that plugging and unplugging the cable in isn't going to break the actual bodges that I made to it. So I'll see how it goes, but I'm going to take it apart now and take the board out. It just has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. So I'll take these out. I won't bore you with the details of this though. I'll just go ahead and take it apart. Okay, with the screws out, I'm going to go ahead and turn it around and open it up. I've been into this before. I've obviously made the bodges to it, but didn't work. So go ahead and connect the LED lights and just basically disassemble it. So we have the keyboard. It's got a ribbon cable, so I'm going to be really gentle with it. Make sure that I don't break it. That would be a tragedy. Okay, keyboard is almost out. There's like a ground on it I forgot about, so I'll pull that out. Okay, so I have the keyboard out. And it's got a little transformer in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out. And it's got plugs. Now I already marked it, so I have like a little marker on the inside to see where the plugs go and everything. Makes a less chance that I'll actually, you know, put the plugs in the wrong way. Because I don't know if they're all keyed really well. So there's definitely a possibility of doing that. Then pull out the plug here. Now, there are no screws in the case. There's like these clips, so I have to unclip it. This is always fun, trying to unclip it without breaking it. I think I did break one of these, unfortunately. I think it was probably that one. I glued it back in, but I don't think it's going to be like a permanent hold if I keep pulling this in and out. But let's take this out. Take the case off and flip it around. And the cassette port, but I'll take these out too. Cassette port is here. And you can see that I bodged it right here. And it's basically going to be a problem because it's really easy for these little traces to come undone. But I'm going to take a multimeter and actually test it. So as I go ahead and I'm testing around, here's the cassette port, here's the ground. This ground isn't being grounded. I don't know if that's a problem, but I definitely want to correct that. This one's kind of working, but the trace is kind of loose there. This over here is coming here. That's fine. That ground is there. But I think this port is also not really that great. And so I'm going to go ahead and desolder it. So I'm not even going to mess around. I'm going to go ahead and desolder it with the desolder gun and see how this goes. Some of these may be better off if I use a desolder braid, but that one came out clean. I think I already added fresh solder to a lot of these, so I'm not worried about that. That trace there is like gone, the little pad. I'm gonna just go ahead and finish this up. Okay, so the port, it's coming loose. I got most of the legs freed up, and I can kind of see it's moving here, but doesn't mean it's going to come out easily. It's quite a few legs. I may have to use heat on it, I'm not sure. Trying to see if any are not free. I'm gonna go ahead and try to push down on a couple. Yeah, I think just a couple over here are not free. Maybe a couple over here. Trying to do this gently so I'm not ripping anything else. Even though a lot of the pads have already been destroyed, I guess it wasn't well designed in the first place. And over time, people plugging, whoever the owner was, plugging the cassette port back in, back out, probably caused it to just weaken. And this is going to be a problem because I don't know how to keep it stable enough so it won't happen again. But there's the port out, and I can tell that it's got a lot of crusty stuff in it right inside of here. I'm going to compare it to the one I have here. Hopefully it's the same. So there are differences. Mostly these two here. These are on the outside. So that's going to be a problem. Other than that, I think we'd be okay. Those are probably ground, but they provide a lot of stability, so I have to figure something out for that. So after closer inspection, these two ports unfortunately aren't the same. So the footprint is different. So I went ahead and ordered 10 more of these. They're like $1.20 a piece, so it doesn't make any sense not to. And also, if I look closely, you can see there's like green corrosion inside of this. And so, yeah, I could probably sonic clean it and do a bunch of things, but it's not really worth the effort. So the new connectors came in for the cassette port, and I'm gonna go ahead and replace it. And the actual PCB on here is kind of messed up. I think from people pulling the cassette port cable in and out many times, it kind of ruined some of the traces. So I had to kind of rework it a little bit. And I still have this one here that is basically the whole pad's gone. And it's like a thin trace coming around. So I have to work that out and figure out, best way to connect that back. But to start, I'm gonna put the port back in, the new one, and then go ahead and rework it from there. This is another one. This one right here and here, there's no pads on. So I got to figure out a solution for that. I think I'm going to probably use some like tape and put it down and use it as like the pad, like conductive tape, or not conductive, but the copper tape. I'll probably put that down and kind of move that to this trace right here, because it connects right here over, and that one comes here. So I can scrape a little bit and then beep it out and see where it's going, and then just kind of hook it up from there. So this is the copper tape, and I'm gonna try to punch a hole in the middle and then place it down and resize it. So I'm going to get my multimeter, try to figure that out. So this one comes across to here, and it's not connected, but kind of scrape a little bit right there. So that one goes across. This one right here, I think goes, oh, I don't know where that one goes, wait. Yeah, I think it goes here. So that one goes across to there. I'm almost positive of it. Make sure everything's connected. come from here. That's good. I hope that's right. I mean, I don't know if I'm making a good... Yeah, I'm making a good connection now. Okay, so that comes here. I kind of make sure things aren't crossed over. It's not over there. It looks good there. I think we should be in good shape. There's some resistance, which is fine, but I think everything, it looks good. There's nothing there, which is good. Okay, I think we should be okay. Okay, so let's go through the test again. I have my phone hooked up to the display, so should be able to get a clear picture. Cassette's hooked up, everything's hooked up. I'm going to type C load from the beginning of the tape and try to load all the programs that we had before and see where it leads off. Hopefully everything is working. And give it a second, it'll actually load that up if it's working. There it is right there. Found it, it's good. Run that program. We're good on that. I'll type C load again. It'll go to the next one. See if it finds the next program. It's kind of spinning along. Found the next one, that's good. We'll run that one. Basically the same program, just has some beeping in it. So I'll C load again. I can't remember if I had 3 programs on here or 4. I went on vacation for a month, so okay, there's move right there. So let's run it. And that's working. I'll list that program, that's good. All right, let's see, is there anything else on here? I think that may be it. I don't know. All right, let me try one more. C load. Can't remember if I put anything else on the program, on the actual tape. Okay, it found something. It looks weird. Now this may be where we left off though. I'm gonna list it. It looks like it's working. I'll run it. All right, that program's working. Anything else on here that I put? That may be the last one, so I'm gonna go back to on the counter at 21 and actually type a little program, save it, rewind it, and see if it works. So let me stop it. I'm gonna reset the computer. Holding down the control key, so it goes to basic. All right, let me rewind. I'm gonna go to 22 on here. I'll just type a little for x equals 1 to 20. 20 prints x times x, 30 next x. Okay, that actually works. Let me do C save. I'll say call it times. I'll record it. Okay, it stopped. All right, and stop it. I'm going to reset the computer, hold down the control key. Okay, I'm going to rewind to 22. Okay, I rewinded a little bit too much, but let's see, load. Hopefully it won't go over into the other program, but we'll see. Yeah, I found it. That's good. This is great. It stopped. Let's run it, see if it works. We got it. All right. Okay, so the MSX is all back together, back on its shelf with the other MSX computers. I think the project worked pretty well. Cassette player is kind of working okay. The jack on the computer for the cassette player, that was the main problem. That threw me off. But that's the way projects go. You don't really know what's going to happen and you get thrown the wrong direction. But then I got there, and hopefully someone who has this computer and cassette player, this helps them. And thank you for watching.